Welcome back to my channel. Today we have the beautiful Emily modeling this makeup look that is kind of a sultry, glam, Valentine's Day inspired makeup look. So I'm starting off by applying a little bit of translucent powder to the brow area just to prep the skin and brow hairs so there's something for the product to grip to as I go in and begin with brows. And I'm just using an angled brow brush from BH Cosmetics and a matte brown Morphe eyeshadow actually to fill in and shape the brows. Now I'm taking Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Light Medium, I believe, and I'm using that to prime her eyelids and prepare them for eyeshadow. And I'm also kind of carving out the shape of the brows during this step as well. And then I'm just making sure everything's nice and smooth with the Beauty Blender and then setting it with translucent powder. And I'm using the RCMA No Color powder. Then for eyeshadow, I'm going into the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals palette in the color Soothe, the matte finish, and that is my transition shade. And then I went back to the brows actually, and I just wanted them a little bit more defined. So yes, going back to the eyeshadow. The next shade I'm using is actually from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. It's the Red Ochre shade, and I am working that into the outer corner of her eyes, of her eyelids, and working it into the crease as well. And the brush I'm using is the BH Cosmetics V5 blending brush. And I like to dip into each eyeshadow color, especially with mattes. I usually dip in twice and go over and build up that color because it just makes a really big difference with the color payoff. And all of these steps that I'm doing with the eyeshadow, I am doing on both sides, even if I just show it, you know, the one time on one side. But I'm just really blending and working that into the outer corner and the crease. And then now I'm dipping into the matte color Ritual from the Tati palette with a smaller blending brush from BH Cosmetics. And I'm focusing that really on the outer corner of the eye, really deepening that up. And I'm keeping my patting and blending movements really small and really focused on that outer corner and really building up the pigment before I start to really blend it out. And then I'm going in with that original blending brush and just blending out all the lines. I really like to go back and forth between the two brushes I'm using so I can really make sure to blend everything and just get it looking how I want it. Now I am taking the Maybelline Color Tattoo. It's this little pot of like a cream metallic eyeshadow, and I just love using that as a base under other eyeshadows. And it comes in different shades, and I'm not sure the shade that I'm using here, but I'll try and link that below. But I'm taking that to kind of carve out her crease, just doing like a half soft cut crease shape, as well as lay down a base for the glitter that we're going to put over top of this. But before we go into the glitter, I'm taking the Red Ochre shade again on my blending brush and then some more of the Ritual shade, and I'm just making sure to really blend into that so it all is cohesive and blended. I've said that word a lot of times. But yes, just getting that nice and blended before I go in with the glitter. So now I'm taking the shade Soothe in the the glitter finish from the Tati palette. I really, really love these pressed glitters from this palette. They're my favorite glitter of any type of glitter eyeshadow formula that I've used. They're just so easy to pat on with your finger. There's very minimal fallout. They are just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you'll see here in a second that they are amazing. I feel like the whole palette was worth it for those glitters. And then I'm taking this small Jaclyn Hill Morphe brush. I don't remember which brush. And a little trick that I really like to do when it comes to kind of blending glitters is to put a metallic shade on a little detail brush like you just saw me doing. I believe I picked up the Primavera shade from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette, and I just went around those edges, and then it makes like a sharp yet blended edge with the glitter. I hope that makes sense, but kind of rather than having the glitter go right up to the edge, I kind of like to have the glitter sort of transition to the metallic. I hope that made any sense at all. And then you saw me going in and creating a little bit of a winged eyeliner with a black eyeshadow, and now I am going in with like a deep gray color to kind of smoke that out and just soften it, as you see me doing here. And then I went into kind of a coppery metallic shade. I don't remember which one it was. I just grabbed what was in front of me, but I put that there to kind of blend where the mattes meet the glitter. And then I'm taking my Cellar Water. I just used the one by Simple on a cotton round, and I'm cleaning up all the fallout and sharpening up that outer edge of the eyeshadow as well. And then I'm going in with the Simple Replenishing Moisturizer to moisturize her skin and prepare it for foundation and everything. And then I'm going in with a little bit of an eye cream as well. I'm going to put some falsies on her. She does have lash extensions, but she told me that she was due for a lash fill, and she was totally game for adding some strip lashes over top. So what you see me doing here is taking the Be Lashed lash adhesive, the white one that dries down clear, and I have a small angled brush, and I'm applying that lash glue to the inner and outer corners of her lash line. And I applied the lash glue to the whole lash band of the actual lashes. So doing this just really reinforces those inner and outer corners. And I let the glue get nice and tacky before I put them on, and so they really just popped right on, and it was so easy. I love using that method. And then I just kind of brushed her extensions in with the falsies. Oh, and the lashes that I used are the Tati lashes in the style TL9. Now I am priming her skin with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I never thought I would be using a drugstore primer on clients, but that's just how good that primer is. If you've tried it, you know. And then I'm using the Huda Beauty Foundation, Faux Filter Foundation in the shade Macchiato with an e.l.f. It's the Ultimate Blending Brush. I love that brush for foundation. And I just love this Huda foundation so much. You can probably see that I'm just using a really small sheer amount, but because the product itself is so full coverage, it just really does its job without having to like cake up or layer on a lot of product, which I really like. And then for the forehead, I mixed the shade Macchiato with a deeper shade. I think it may have been Chocolate Mousse, just because I like to do a darker shade on the forehead to kind of pre-bronze or pre-contour the forehead. Now Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Light Medium. Applying that to the center of her forehead, down the center of the nose, Cupid's bow, chin, under the eyes, and then I did it kind of under the contour area as well. You'll see here. And you'll see that I'm bringing the concealer up on the sides of the nose, kind of up to where I will be cream contouring, and that just helps brighten everything and helps with that slimming effect of contouring the nose. Then I'm blending everything out with my Beauty Blender. Now I'm using the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Beautiful Bronze to cream contour. I love the LA Girl Pro Concealer for cream contouring. It's incredible, and it's only like $3 or $4 a tube. Oh, but that stuff it's amazing for cream contouring, and a little bit goes a very, very long way. So if you try it, keep that in mind. And the brush I'm using to cream contour is from the BH Cosmetics Rose Quartz brush set, which I really, really love that brush set. I use every brush from it. I'm using another brush from that set to contour her nose. And I'm just using such a tiny amount of that cream contour to go in and do this. I like to contour at the tip of the nose as well as the sides. And then one of my favorite parts of any look, contouring the lips. The difference this makes is so huge, but it's so undetectable that you actually went in and contoured your lips. You have to try it. And then I'm just taking my Beauty Blender to soften anything that I need to, as well as kind of blend it out from the outside in on the sides of the nose, so it creates a more slender appearance, if that makes sense. And then I just was kind of brightening up the center of the nose, again with just the tiniest amount of that concealer, that lighter concealer. And then just making sure everything's perfectly blended with the Beauty Blender. Now I'm going in with some cream blush by Flower Beauty. It does not have a shade. I looked right before I filmed, and there's not a shade name on it. So I don't really know what that's about, but if you don't have a cream blush in your collection, something that you can totally do is grab a cream lipstick, like a traditional cream lipstick, and just use a little bit of that, and it will work perfectly as a cream blush. So there's a little tip for you. Now I'm just, I always go under the eye again with my Beauty Blender right before I set it with powder, just to make sure there's no creases. And then I'm also blending out any smile lines before I set that area with powder. And again, this is the RCMA No Color powder. Now I'm setting the entire face. Now I'm just going over everything, kind of pressing the powder into the skin with the Beauty Blender, and then doing a little bit of baking under the contour and on the smile lines to help prevent those smile lines from creasing, and on the chin as well, just to help make the makeup extra bulletproof in those areas. Now I'm going with the Hoola Benefit Bronzer just to kind of bring that cream contour back to life now that we've powdered it all. And I'm using just such a light amount, really just using it to kind of dust off that translucent powder and help the contour pop again. Now I'm dusting off that bake with my powder brush. And now it's time to smoke out under the eyes. We went really, really smoky, and I just love the way that it looks. So I used the Essence, let's see, I always forget how to say the name, but it's the 24-hour pencil or waterproof something. It'll be in the description. And I put that in the waterline as well as a little bit on the lash line and underneath. And then now I'm going in with the dark brown matte Ritual shade of eyeshadow to kind of smudge that out. And now I'm going in with the red ochre shade to really blend it out. And I'm just going nice and smoky. And then I dipped into that same shade again, red ochre, just to take it even farther. I actually got to do Emily's makeup for her wedding a couple months ago. It was so much fun to do her makeup. We went very glam for that look as well, but we opted for a nude eyeliner in the waterline on her wedding day, and it was equally as beautiful on her. They just, both looks were so stunning, but it was so fun to do the super dark smoky look today, and she loved how it turned out. Then what you just saw me do was take the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder in, I don't remember the shade, it's not the translucent shade, it has a little bit of a color to it, and I use that to brighten under the eyes and the sides of the nose, but I'll link the shade in the description. And then I'm going in with the Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop Highlighter, one of my favorite highlighters of all time. Taking it on the chin, Cupid's bow, and nose as well. And then the Milani Luminoso blush. It looks so gorgeous over top of that cream blush. And I take a little bit of the blush, just what's left on my brush, to go on the forehead and nose, just to bring a little bit of color to other areas of the face. And then I've been loving using the Benefit Cookie highlighter for the inner corner of the eye and the brow bone. I love it for highlighting anywhere, but it also works wonderfully for a beaming highlight in the inner corner and on the brow bone. And then setting the brows with some brow gel. This one's by Colourpop, but it's not like a holy grail brow gel or anything. It's just what I'm using. And then I'm lining and filling in her lips with the Morphe Sweet Tea lip liner. And then going over it with the Colourpop Aquarius Ultra Satin Lip, which if you've been following me for any length of time, you know this is my favorite nude lip of all time, and they're discontinuing it. So I'm heartbroken, truly heartbroken. Then I'm going over with the Buxom White Champagne Lip Gloss. Now for her décolletage area, I'm using the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion, which I really, really love that product for the décolletage area. It really makes a subtle glow. And then I used a highlighter to go over the collarbones, and I'm just using what's left on the brush I used to cream contour to contour a little bit of her collarbones and make them pop. She's looking so pretty. And now I'm just putting mascara on the bottom lashes, and this look is complete. So we went from naturally beautiful to glam, and I must say I really loved how this look turned out. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and have a wonderful day. Bye.